see Louis, Tom, and of course the champ and Eddie for taking this fight with Edgar. Keith Connolly done a great job to get this made. But this isn't just about winning the lottery. This is about claiming a ticket. And Edgar Berlanga is here only to win. 16 first-round knockouts in his first 16 fights, 22-0. This kid has amateur pedigree, this kid has ability, this kid has dynamite in his hands, and this kid has a big set of cojones that will put everything on the line on September the 14th.
This is our main event, September 14th. Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga meets for the WBA, WBC, and WBO Super Middleweight World Titles.
Gotta fight, why would I be thinking about him? What do you think of the Banga fight? I think he stops. Banga boxing professionals have revealed their picks for the upcoming fight between Edgar Berlanga and Canelo Alvarez. It made sense. I think he's the biggest fight available for Canelo Alvarez outside of David Benz, so you know his other mandatory was William S.C. I believe this was the right fight for him. They had their first press conference yesterday, and it attracted several professionals of the sport in making their picks and predictions. I mean, I don't see it, but you know anything's possible in the sport of boxing. I'm sure we've seen crazier things. Canelo Alvarez has been tipped to overcome the next obstacle in front of him, Edgar Berlanga. However, boxing professionals are also very wary of Edgar Berlanga's size and power, which may prove to be massive weapons in Canelo Alvarez and giving him his third defeat. I think you know Berlanga's head over the heels with this fight. I think Berlanga, however, many other professionals have complained that this isn't really the fight for fans, as a matchup against either David Morrell or David Benavidez would be more appealing to boxing than this one. Bud Crawford didn't pull any punches with this one over the past several months. There has also been plenty of buzz about a possible dream bout between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, but for that to happen, Alvarez will have to defeat Edgar Berlanga to defend his unified super middleweight crown on September 14th, live on DAZN. While Crawford was laser-focused on adding to his boxing legacy last weekend, that didn't stop Bud from giving his thoughts on Alvarez versus Berlanga. I think Alvarez stops Banga. Crawford offered during a recent interview with the Stomping Ground. I think Berlanga is head over heels with this fight. He continued, I think Berlanga can be a great champion someday. I just think right now, Canelo is just too much for him. Could be a great, champion someday. I just think right now, Canelo is just too much for him if Canelo gets past Berlanga, just as Crawford has gotten past Madrio. Then at that point, the pair will continue their charge toward making the super bout happen, moving up from 154 pounds to 168 pounds to lock it in. I know this fight's at 154. But that fight with Canelo, if it happened, would be at 168, go up 2 divisions and win. And if it does all line up, Crawford has the utmost confidence in his authority over the sweet science skills. Pay the bills, Crawford said about his believed edge over Alvarez. And I got the skills to pay him. Johnny Boy box fight. I just want to ask you, what do you think about Terence Cord? Also, Canelo Alvarez was asked about the proposed fight against Terence Crawford. He said if the money is right. He was then asked about the price he was looking at, as the interviewer spoke about Turki Alal Sheikh's involvement in convincing Canelo Alvarez with a huge pay. Canelo responded 150. What do we think about Terence C's performance? And do you want to get a fight with him? Is that if the money is right? I mean, speaking about the fight being Edgar Berlanga's promoter, Eddie Hearn, promised that Edgar Berlanga would give Canelo Alvarez a run for his money and won't be just a walk in the park. And also we got him into a mandatory position, so you know it makes sense. I think he's the biggest fight available for Canelo Alvarez outside of David Bennett's. So you know his other mandatory was William S.K. I believe this was the right. Who else can Canelo Alvarez fight right now other than David Benavidez's promoter Eddie Hearn told Boxing News for whatever reason he's moved to light heavyweight. So that doesn't look like it's happening, so I think Edgar Berlanga is a good pick. I think he'll give him a good fight and it'll be a good event. But I don't see a lot of other options out there for Canelo Alvarez. If I'm honest, one thing I can say about Canelo Alvarez is he will never duck a challenge. There's no one he's afraid of, so understand that Mugia he has of awe. He has great volume, decent quickness. He's bigger than Canelo, standing that 6 foot. Predicting the fight, Timothy Bradley sounded so assured that Edgar Berlanga has zero chance against the undisputed champion, talking about the 33-year-old Mexican as being the fighter with the best chin of all. Ain't no knocking out no damn Canelo. Triple G couldn't even hurt Canelo. That dude got the best chin in the business, bro. He ain't knocking out no Canelo. He ain't getting no chin on that freaking night. He continues, though I understand that Berlanga has great volume, decent quickness. He's bigger than Canelo, standing at 6 feet, and has a nice reach on him. However, he makes mistakes and is a great counterpuncher like Canelo. How cerebral he is, and how he's able to set traps for his opponents. I've got a nice reach on him. However, he makes mistakes. One of Canelo Alvarez's numerous victims. John Ryder doesn't see a knockout victory, but a win that'll ultimately be decided by the scorecards. He was very good. I still think he's probably past his best, but he still had enough of his tank tonight. He couldn't get me out of there. His plan was to stop me. He didn't. To him, Edgar Berlanga, maybe the early threat, but when it comes to seeing the match out till the very end, Canelo Alvarez will edge his fellow Mexican. John R. said when speaking to a news source, I think Canelo wins. I think it'll be close. Berlanga will get off to a good start, might even go 3-4 rounds up maybe, but I think Canelo will come on strong in the second half of the fight and make it his own. He's too accurate, and he's got the lasting effect in his shots. He'll grind Munja down, and I don't think he'll stop him, but I think he'll beat him on points. I know that took a great shot in the 5th round, but coming back swinging, and Edgar Berlanga arrived shirtless at the New York press conference to announce his September 14th fight in Las Vegas with Canelo Alvarez, and spoke with ambition to win and disdain for the critics who have slammed his opportunity. The New York challenger for the WBC, WBO, and WBA super middleweight belts admitted he could see the negativity around his shot, but said he would do the best to make the most of his chance at the T-Mobile Arena. There's a lot of doubt out there, and a lot of hate, Berlanga said, but I've been facing adversity. I've been facing hate all my life. This is my opportunity to become a great champion, but also be legendary in the sport of boxing. It's going to be something amazing. Puerto Rico versus Mexico. That's the biggest rivalry in boxing. I've always been overlooked. Even if I had a world title, I would be overlooked. When I first turned pro, no promoter wanted to sign me, and I had to go there, dig my feet deep in the ground and work, and knock people out. And I started knocking people out in the first round. And that's when people started wanting to sign me. Guys, what you say to anybody who says it shouldn't be you, September 14th, those are haters, man, Like I said, those are haters, man. And know those people out there. Berlanga, having then gone the distance in 5 straight fights, stopped Irishman Patrick McStee in Orlando in February. The 27-year-old said he'd been dreaming of a fight like this, and that he manifested hitting the Canelo bout. They're going to still buy the pay-per-view. They're still going to talk, Floyd became Floyd. Why? 'Cause he has so much people that a lot of people are talking, saying, I'm fighting cab drivers, now I'm fighting a legend. They say, I'm going to get knocked out. You never win, Banga added. So I just put my head down, keep working, stay humble, and just turn up. Berlanga's resolve has been stiffened by the critics, and he knows he's not the popular choice that would have been David Benavidez, who, frustrated by his inability to land a fight with the February 2nd, 61 Mexican superstar Canelo has moved north to 175 lulls. I don't want to hear Benavidez F. AIDS Berlanga continued. Shout out to Terence Crawford. They keep mentioning Crawford for Canelo. He fought a 54-pounder Israel Madrimov. It was a tough fight. We got business to handle September 14th. A lot of people keep mentioning Ben AIDS and all these guys. You all know it's not going to happen. That's September 14th. I've got Canelo Puerto Rico against Mexico. And what I hear, listen, man, I don't want to hear Bennett's __. Bennett, shout out to Crawford. You know what I'm saying. But they keep mentioning Crawford. He fought a 54-pounder. It was a tough fight. Promoter Eddie Hearn signed Berlanga 13 months ago and promised he would deliver him to Canelo the Mexican's recent marriage to PBC, which now spans 3 consecutive contests, made that less likely, but the opposing teams managed to get the deal done. We got business in handle September 14th. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just keep mentioning Ben AIDS and all these guys, man, like, well, I know it's not going to happen. Hearn called the Canelo fight the lottery ticket of boxing. This isn't just about winning the lottery. This is about paying in the ticket, and Edgar Berlanga is here only to win, said Hearn. The Canelo Alvarez fought weeks at this time. We come as the opponent. Many opponents we've had have faced him in the past. Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, John Ryder, Rocky. This kid has a big set of kummies and will put everything on the line on September 14th. I know Canelo Alvarez wants real fights, guys that will come to him to win. This guy won't dance around the ring. He won't try to survive for 12 rounds. He will come for a firefight with Canelo Alvarez. And yes, it is Puerto Rico versus Mexico. But it's deeper than that. This is the opportunity of a lifetime for Edgar and his father. He's dedicated his life to the